sumulla talibo Sabata nyani manzo Usman ba Ibra jallo jeri Izolu nidal
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of The Conversation. We're back today, once again. Those of you that have been listening to The Conversation, you know what we do here. It's just another platform where we're inviting Gambians to come and talk about the national issues, convince each other of the fight that we're in, talk to our opposition leaders, and possibly even the government, to let them understand what the Gambian people have come to expect. In light of that, we do reach out to some prominent and young Gambians. And this morning, I have a young man that anyone who is involved in the struggle have gotten to know, a promising future leader from the United Kingdom. I have Mr. Yunus Hydara of the United Kingdom. Yunus, welcome to The Conversation.
Thanks very much, MV, for having me. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
I just thought with Yunus coming, you Brikama folks love Jaliba. So I
was going to say thanks for the Jaliba song. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
At least get you going, you know?
Yes, thank you.
But Yunus, thank you so much for accepting my invite. I know we have been trying to get you here. Our schedules didn't quite work. And finally today, thanks for making the time to come and, speak with us here. Again, I'm sure you've listened to some of the conversations that we had with people. It's just a simple platform, feel free. It's just a conversation, nothing like an interview. Just talk about issues, something that you've done quite well. Before we go any further, let me just, I always like to do this because I want people, that person that doesn't know who Yunus Hydara is, take a minute to just, tell us, who is Yunus Hydara that we hear on the airwaves all the time?
Okay. There's not much to say, but yeah, I am, my name is Yunus Hydara. Friends call me Parboy, and I'm born and raised in Brikama. I've had a typical childhood in Brikama, and my dad is from Mauritania. He's got some businesses in Gambia and also in Mauritania. So he's got two wives, and so I've got siblings in he has two wives. I've got siblings in Mauritania, two sisters there. But my mom's from Barajali, so I was born in Brikama and I was raised there. Had good friends. All right, life, and I now live in the United Kingdom, Edinburgh specifically. So I studied at West Lothian College, where I studied psychology, understanding the individual, which doesn't include women, by the way. I studied chemistry and biology and math, and then I moved on to study at the University of Edinburgh, where I studied Bachelor's of Science, and on my final year, the fourth year, so graduating in June, inshallah. I work at Lloyd's Bank, and I think that's about it, really.
Thank you so much, Yunus, for that, short and in-depth, introduction of yourself. You said, obviously, you are in college right now in your final year. From what I understand, that you're a medical student. Is that correct?
Actually, I am a scientist. I'm studying to become a scientist, which is, it can be classed as medical, because I'll be that's what I'm aspiring to do is become a medical research, find cure for illnesses. But now, since I started doing this health and science show on Fat Radio, I've started to interact with people directly. So that kind of inspired me to become a medical doctor, where I'll be working directly with the people instead of working behind the scenes trying to find illnesses. So that's what I'm thinking. When I graduate, I'm graduating in June from the University of Edinburgh, and I'll try and do a couple more years in clinical medicine to become a doctor.
Doctor.
Yeah. So.
Thank you so much. That is good. Yunus, I like to talk about these things because I want the average person to understand that when they hear you on these airwaves, you're not just like a loose cannon out there. I like to say this because people think that we're aimless. We're just angry people that either miss home or we just want to go back home, that we don't have a life. So for people to understand that, behind the scenes, after all that discussion on the airwaves, this guy actually is doing something to prepare himself and you, like many others in the movement to restore democracy in the country, are actually decent human beings that do have a very productive life. Now, you said that obviously you walked us through your educational path. Just take a minute, Yunus. I mean, when the day that you left Banjul, when you got that visa to come to the United Kingdom, you were a raw student, just with no sense of direction in the UK. How did you, just in quickness, how did you transform and adjust to this environment over there to understand the need to develop yourself to the point where you're just 1 year away from graduating from one of the finest institutions in the country to set up yourself for the future? To that person that may come and just want to just focus on work, and we know the older you get, then obviously, your earning diminishes and your body starts shutting down without an education. Pretty soon you hit a dead end. That education.
Yeah. Yeah, I say it happened spontaneously. I came in as just one of the typical Gambian who wants to come and just, make money, help people back home, and just enjoy life, which I did for a certain amount of time. But I always had this underlying thing that I will one day go and study, even though I didn't know what to study at the time. I've been working and doing my own things on the side, but what happened was one time I was like walking past the University of Edinburgh, and I just stood at the door looking at students swiping in and out the doors. For some reason, MB, I look at these people as angels. I was like, oh my God, these people are the brightest. For some reason, that's where the inspiration began. I was like, I really need to become one of these people. And I decided to do, so I started contacting universities, and I applied to a few, and they said no, because I've not been to school for a while. I need to go to college and do some background courses. But then what I decided was I evaluated, I'm here working full-time, working all these hours, having money, but I can achieve a university degree on top of these, and still manage to make the same amount of money that I was earning before I got into the university. So I just said I just have to sacrifice more time, So I decided to get a job where that is quiet and it's like during the night. It's not much to do, things like that. So, sometimes when it's quiet, especially in the weekends, I can, revise my notes and stuff like that. But I just had to work harder, twice as hard for like doing, studying full time. And working full time. So I've not really compromised my earnings. I had the life that I had before, but I just don't have time, the amount of time, leisure time that I used to have. So now I'm busy studying and going to university, sometimes with absolutely no sleep. But it's 5 years. I've done it for 5 years, and it's gone really quick. It felt like I've done it for like a year or so. So in June, inshallah, I'm graduating.
Good. Hopefully, we'll all have the opportunity to come to that graduation and throw a huge barbecue over there. And have
it's happening in the Ramadan though. That's the problem. I was like so sad when I heard about, when I knew. It's gonna be in the Ramadan.
We'll plan well. But Yunus, you talked about your education, which we're still talking about here. You mentioned you're more into research to cure illnesses. And one time I was having a conversation with you, and we were talking about your uncle, Papa Fall. And you mentioned that one thing that really caught up with me was that sometimes when you study in science, it almost defies religion and the whole notion of creation and the belief that the religious belief. But your uncle really gave you the advice to, although you're still studying science, don't forget about your religion. That to me was really deep, and because I could see how scientists really don't believe in God, and they believe in just a systematic setup of how the human being works, how the human being comes to life and death, and that in some way defies the whole religious belief. Can you just touch into that a little bit in depth of what that conversation was like, how we can balance science and religion?
Yeah. First of all, Papa is not my uncle. He's my brother. We're from the same
brother. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
But he's my good friend. We have sometimes occasional debates on these things, because especially after this program, when he's like always at home and watching TV, he's got to seen a lot of stuff on Discovery Channel and things about nature. But yeah, we always used to have conversations about these. But yeah, when I visited him in prison, that's what he told me. That's the advice he gave me, to say that I should not confuse, I should not let science confuse my iman. And yeah, but there's a distinction. For me, I'm a Muslim. I've been raised as a Muslim. My mom taught me the Quran, and she's very passionate about Islam, So, but I just like to separate the two, Islam from science, because, Islam, we have the doctrines of Islam, some things that we don't know. We are forced to, we are told to believe something that we've not seen, I don't think, if I say that correctly. But science, I've seen the advancements that happen in science. Things, discoveries been made, and things been debated by intellectuals. And now we're all benefiting from these things through these medical breakthroughs. And all those are based on ideologies that's not good, and that are opposed to Islam. They believe in evolution. So scientists believe life started about 3.5 billion years ago, where there's a microorganism that kind of got engulfed by an algae, and then photosynthesis started, and then causes drop in atmospheric temperature and things like that, and it's called symbiotic processes that happen, where one living organism is engulfed by the other. And this, I'm not supporting this right now, but they've shown like evidences where things that got engulfed, like we have something called mitochondria. Mitochondria, they believe, is the ancestors. Is one of the cells that got bacterial related organism that got engulfed. So you can have some of their DNA in their genome. Even us, the humans, we have our own DNA. We have our own genome, but we still have these mitochondrial DNA in us. So Charles Darwin is a Chinese scientist that came up with the theory of evolution by natural selection, where it says genes will mutate, and because genes mutate, it can happen spontaneously through processes our own physiology, like DNA replication, and these mutations give new traits, and the traits that is beneficial to a person will cause this person to be able to succeed in its environment and then reproduce. So there's a challenge called struggle for existence, because their resources are limited. Niches are being occupied by other governments. So it brings struggle for existence. So this way, organisms get adapted to their natural environment, and that's how this diversification happened. But when you talk about, I just like to separate the two, because if we want to do our judgment on Islamic doctrines, we all these medical breakthroughs will not happen. So they're all based on concepts of evolution. Just to make it short.
Good. Well, thank you so much. I just thought that was a great conversation that we had there, and thanks for the correction to let us know that Papa is your brother. But Yunus, you have of late become almost like the media, and I know when we say that, people are like, how now everybody's in the media, and my argument on that is we're not in a normal situation. We all have to do our part, do something from the experiences that we've had. But you have become almost, a face in the media now with your show on the Fatu Radio, and also the very popular and successful show, The Blue. How did that come about? Why did you feel the need to really come out and have your own show? You're busy with school, you're busy with family work, and then you feel the responsibility to come and talk to people about what you're learning in school, and also the entertainment and educating the people. Why? To that average person that feels the need that I can't make a difference, or I don't want to do this, help us understand.
Okay. I understand what you're saying. The first thing that triggered my interest in this is because of the differences in life expectancy that I've seen on the United Nations. What the United Nations in Gambia, the life expectancy there is 60 years, and the UK is about 80. So also there's a 20 years gap there. What causes this significant difference? Because fair enough, there's better healthcare here, and people are more educated. But I think globally, the strategy is now being shifted from treating diseases to preventing them. So to prevent the diseases, you have to people have to understand. And it really disturbs me that Gambia people don't Islam, for example, influences people's way of reasoning, because when someone dies, they just said it's predestined to happen, and that's what should happen. They don't find out what's killing people. And majority of time, these people are dying of preventable diseases. So in this struggle, I was involved and started to get to know Fatu, and there was a time that a topic came up on her medium when they were talking. Honorable OJ came up to say that they should legalize marijuana in the Gambia because young children are being jailed for possessing marijuana. So I called in and contributed. I think that's where it started. And then Fatu suggested to me one time that if I want to have a show there, then I then discussed it with a few people. Pastor PJ is one of them. And they all supported the idea that, you try it. It sounds very good, and I'm sure it will be helpful. So I started, playing it. I started doing it, and I was nervous at first. But then I started getting very good feedback, people texting me, thanking me, and showing appreciation. That just kept me going. So I'll stay up at night to get these facts together and come and discuss them for them. That's very gratifying for me, and I'm really glad I'm able to do it. And for the VU, I'm just a contributor. MJ is the main man. He's the anchor. Him and Kabiro just one night started talking on the VU. I think Kabiro initiated it. He's friends with MJ, and he then realized that MJ knows a lot of things. So he said, before me and you just personally having this conversation between us, maybe we should just do it on air. So the two of them, just went online, and people started listening, including myself. I was like, what kind of program is this? So I called. So then I started, participating. We had a good show that night, and then everyone liked the program. They suggested we should keep doing it. So then, we've been doing it from that.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'm definitely a listener of the VU and also your shows. Now, your medical show on Fatu Radio, that happens on Wednesday. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, on Wednesday, and the VU is every Monday and Wednesday, just for the record.
Right. Yeah.
Good. Perfect. Okay, Yunus. Obviously, I think that's a great information there for us. Now, obviously, you're part of the media now that you're formally doing this. Can you just take a minute to tell us, from your perspective, how has the Gambian media really contributed to this fight that we're in, and how do you see them really helping us get to that next stage? Because we've all seen when obviously Freedom started it, then a few other radios started penetrating, and now it seems like the media is almost the leader in this fight that we're in. Can you just tell us how what your take is on it, and how do you see them really getting us to that end game, to really flush out this dictatorship?
Yeah, that's one thing that we are happy with. And you see, a lot of great battles were fought without the advancement in technology. But now technology is proliferated, and it's a powerful tool that we use. Now people are able to have a very informed opinion about what's happening in our country. So. I think it's addictive. People are listening to it. People are glued to it, and that's the thing. For us Gambians, we didn't have that opportunity to be enlightened in the past. Our leaders, that's one thing that our leaders failed us on, and Yahya Jammeh is doing the complete opposite by trying to stop the flow of information and try to inject very backward rhetoric in the minds of our people, and that comes to his advantage, because the more he keeps the country dumb, the better for him, because people won't be critical about him. But this media, thanks to it, it's not going into the Gambia like the way we want it, but information is filtering, and the Gambians in the it keeps the Gambia and the diaspora very informed about what's going on in the Gambia, and now we with the media power, we're able to do things that we cannot do before, like come together and raise significant amount of money for a good cause, things like that. But it's incredibly helpful by making people aware of what's going on, and also making them have informed opinion.
Thank you so much. You just obviously highlighted the importance of the media, the positive things that they've done. In your take, what is the negative aspect of it, of this whole media, representing the fight? Obviously, the positive. On the flip side, are there any negatives that you wish we can change as a young man who's in this, that the media, brings in?
For me, I think my worry is that for the media, we are putting a lot of negatives there, which a lot of them are true. But I'm worried that the people, the health of the people, because they have to deal with these things on a daily basis, and that can affect their health. Our body have a mechanism that helps people to deal with stress. For example, our body produces a hormone called cortisol, which help us to have to metabolize energy, glucose degradation to give us the energy that we need, and all the things. And prolonged elevated concentration of cortisol can lead to hypertension. So for people to have constantly to be dealing with stress, I think could have an adverse health impact on the people. But then again, that's the problem we have. The quicker we all come together and deal with it and get rid of this, the better for us. So if not, we'll all remain concerned citizens because we cannot stay away from it. We all want to know what's happening, who's getting arrested, who's getting tortured, what can we do for them. So having stopping this whole thing requires us to come together and get it done than sitting here and be concerned while our health deteriorates as a consequence. But I don't think I'm not sure there will be any more negative thing for it, apart from some of the arguments and stuff. But that's life.
That's life. Perfect. Thank you so much, Mr. Hydara. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Momodou Krubally with Yunus Hydara on the conversation, talking about, we've just heard Yunus tell us, his background, where he's from, a little bit about his education, and also, obviously, the media, his famous medical show, The View. Yunus, obviously, we've always heard you on the airwaves. You're very emotional. You're very passionate about the belief to continue on this fight to restore democracy in our nation. What is your take on the pulse of this struggle right now? If you were to assess this struggle and give us a grade from 1 to 10, 10 being freedom, 1 being when this whole stuff started, where are we?
We've definitely made a significant stride in this struggle, and thanks to the guys who recognize these things and start to enlighten people, which is Panderi and Bankamanes and Pasambajaus I'm sure they'll tell you that they've encountered a lot of issues in the past, because when you speak, a lot more people will be attacking you than there will be now. So I think the struggle will be about 8, if you ask me. I think it's 8, and because it's progress from there. It might be slow with occasional inertia, but they made a tremendous stride by inspiring people to join them in the fight. For example, Pasambajau, I met in Papa's wedding 5 years ago for the first time, and the next day we were all invited to a barbecue where I had an opportunity to have a chat with him. So I asked him what he does, and he told me that he's the leader of a Gambian movement in Washington. And then there we kind of changed. I added him as a friend on Facebook, and he accepted it. And then I started following what he talks about, and I started to follow things on Freedom Radio, and that inspired me to eventually also join the movement. And I'm sure there's a lot more other people who have similar stories as me. But the struggle has gotten powerful. We all know Yahya Jammeh is a lot weaker now that before, because now you hardly hear that someone's killed, someone's arrested, and I think he's now even trying to I don't know, because he's so much into killing people. So now that he cannot blatantly kill people unlawfully, he's trying to do it lawfully by he first tried to bring in the death penalty, and that didn't work, and now he's talking about the Sharia. So I think all these things, when they come, is just will be as a justification for him to kill more people, and that's what will happen. Yahya Jammeh will be interested in someone's wife, and he'll falsify evidence on the husband to kill them, to do whatever he wants to do with the wife.
Yeah.
So the struggle has evolved, and we've gotten people who served in his regime, Fat Cameras and the others, who are now very active and they've done a tremendous job in getting the struggle where it is today, and in weakening the brutal dictatorship that's in Gambia.
Thank you. Now that you've mentioned Fatu Camara, Yunus, I want to ask you this question. Like I said, this is just a conversation. The questions are coming from your answers. You mentioned about Fatu Camara, once working for Yaya and now in the struggle, and we've all seen what she's been doing. There's those critics out there that are saying once you work for him, you're tainted. What is your take on that whole, with the Lieutenant Gano, thing that if it's them against us, they've been there before, they enable us, now they cannot come, we cannot trust them. What is your take as a youth? What's the message that, what's your response to that?
Yeah, it's just that the struggle, we always seem to condemn what we are fighting for, which is very funny, because we're fighting for democracy and things like that, but then we're trying to shut down other people from their freedom to express whatever they feel like expressing. I think whoever, because I've heard people saying when someone comes to diaspora who has been working for the regime, when they're quiet, people don't like it, and when they talk, people don't like it either. So I don't know what they want, really. So I think these people should be welcomed, without prejudice. They should come in, they give us valuable insight to Yaya Jammeh, and all that contributed, because that way we can intensify efforts that will make impact, and save on other efforts that would not make an impact, and that way resources can be saved. But Fat Camara has been very instrumental in the struggle. I think it's her influence that the struggle got to the White House. We had a statement. We had the Yaya Jammeh, the Gambia being removed from the trade. I forgot the trade name between the United States and the Gambia. I think all those is her influence, and all this contributing in exposing and weakening Yaya Jammeh. But I believe, if only those who break the law while they're in Jammeh regime should be after Jammeh is gone, they will have to be accountable for those. And Fat Camara, I don't think he'll be one of those people. She'll be one of those people, because I've worked with her for over a year now, and she's very professional, she's respectful, and very friendly. I don't think she have that in her DNA, that she'll do anything to break the law or do anything that will make Gambian people to suffer. But then again, all these people will be subjected to a judicial review where they'll be looked at after Yaya Jammeh is gone. But I'm confident that they're all pretty good.
Thank you so much, Yunus. I think we're we're all on the same page on that. My belief is that these people that defect and do come have to be welcomed in open arms, and let them help us. Obviously, each of these dictators that fell before, obviously, the information that was helped attack them was the information that came from within, and they're very important. As you mentioned, we've all seen how the likes of Dr. Jane and Sidi Sane have really helped us get to that next stage. And it is only smart on our part that we welcome them in open arms and work with them. You said an 8 for a struggle to 10. We're really close, Yunus, from your explanation and your belief. We're very close. Yunus, looking at how things are going so far, how do you see this whole struggle thing ending? Given that we're so close, how do you see this ending? Because there's got to be an end to all of this stuff that we all don't know. How do you see it ending?
You see, the outcome of what's going to happen is not up to the struggle. So the struggle can be very disorganized. We have an influence, but the most valuable influence I think, we're making is to enlighten the people. And the people are very enlightened now, Gambia. 90% of Gambians know exactly who Yaya Jammeh is, and they don't want him. So I always try to speak to all the youths, and I try to find out their opinion about Yahya Jammeh and that of those around them that they interact with. And every time, that's what they tell me, that no one wants Yahya Jammeh. They all believe that the hardship that they're facing is because of Yahya Jammeh. So we can keep pushing for the oppositions to unite, which seem pretty impossible at the moment, but I'm still hopeful, because I think these people know exactly what's at stake. You know, it's 2016. It's got to come. It's got to happen. You know, if they unite, come together, they'll unite. They'll get the diaspora together. Resources will come together. Intellectuals will come together, and they will have the whole of Gambia against Yahya Jammeh. But Yahya Jammeh cannot cheat. That will cheat by bringing people from Casamas that will exceed 90% of the Gambian population. So I think the struggle have done their part, but it's up to the oppositions now, and I'm sure negotiations are happening there to get the opposition to come together. But the thing is the civil disobedience is also very likely in Gambia, because people are pushing for these reforms, and Yahya Jammeh, just anything that he does right now to show people that he is completely going to deprive them of all means for peaceful change, that will trigger civil disobedience. And Yahya knows whenever that happens, he will go. And this Senegal border problems also contributing to the increasing the dissatisfaction in the country, and that can also trigger. So I believe something will happen this year, regardless of what the struggle is doing and what they're not doing. You know, well, we've done our part by getting the people to know, and they all know now what's happening.
Good. Thank you so much, Yunus, for that. Now, you mentioned about the youth, and we all know that the youth have a lot more to lose in this case if Yahya continues to run the government and be the leader of that nation. We've seen what the Carthon youth have done. You are obviously a voice of the youth out there. But at the end of the day, you know, you also mentioned the need for a demonstration to happen. We've seen a very close one when UDP was leaving, Basse coming in after their Congress. Are the youths really ready to take up the street? Because what I saw in that UDP situation at that short standoff was, once the leaders called it off, the youths also just called it off. Why couldn't the youths just stand and say, you know what, we're all here, we're not going, let the leaders go. This is our future. These people are in their 60s, their 70s, their 80s. They're down where the 20s and the 18s and the 19s. We have more to lose. We want this guy out. Are the youths enlightened, and are they really ready like we're saying here, or are we just deceiving ourselves?
I don't think we're deceiving ourselves. I think the youths know. The youths were just following. They have a lot of respect for the leadership that was there, and it's the leaders that called it off. They're loyal to him, and they don't want to do anything disrespectful. But the youths, you know, I believe the youths. Now the problem whether they have this option of back way thing, you know, and the people, the ones that leave to go to the back way are usually the brave ones. I'm not saying the ones that are not brave, but to take the risk of traveling that desert and the Mediterranean Sea, I think that's pretty brave, because I argue that's a suicide mission, because you know, because when you're taking up the journey, you don't know. There's nothing that you can do to say, oh, if I do this, this is the way to do it, to get to Europe and to stay alive. There's nothing. It's just by chance. Your survival and getting to Europe is just by chance. So there's a lot of brave youths that are leaving the country. And the ones that are there, they're either pretty chilled out because they're, you know, we're the diaspora, we're helping families at home. So that's a factor that's keeping them calm. But I think they're feeling the pain as well. And if with the right leadership, they will go for it. I have no doubt they'll go for it. They have a lot of respect for Darboe. Darboe is like an iconic person for UDP. So whatever he says, that's what they'll do. You know, we in Gambia, you know, we have this culture that you have to respect the elderly. Whatever they say, you do. You don't say a word to it. You know, so that's it. But I see it there's a huge possibility of it. We just need leadership to lead the movement. But the youths are very ready. Because last time what happened, you know, you probably heard me on the radio. I was trying to spark anger in people by bringing all the problems back up, telling them what Yahya Jammeh has been doing. It's been suffocating the people the past 22 years. But they you know, but yeah, I think with the right leadership, we would have had Gambia back by today. But it didn't happen. But then again, looking at the positive side, you know, that has sent a clear message to Yahya Jammeh that people are not afraid of him anymore. People will speak up, and people will stand up for what is right. And that's a sign that the end is near.
Yeah. Now, you've talked about that need for respect for elders, which I think there is a difference between respecting your leaders and really communicating to your leaders of what you want. I think this whole, you know, being behind the, you know, our elders and not speaking out is what landed us in what we are where we are right now. Would you agree that the youths really have to start really challenging these elders, that age of just going with what the leaders say and staying behind them is past? I mean, don't you think the youths need to really speak up and start taking, you know, positions and start fighting for these positions and making sure that you know, they somehow take a lead? Because we know that our elders, the older people, are much more peaceful. They're very humble people. They don't like any confrontations. And we have been abused. We have been attacked. And they're hoping that this thing will end peacefully. Don't you think we really need to be a little bit more aggressive, not disrespecting them, but showing them that we're tired and in a way, even taking up the leadership position and stepping up and forcing them to maybe follow us a little bit to confront this guy?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the youths, there's a difference between the youths. Like, if you look at the youths in Gambia and the ones here, like the ones like me, we live in a different environment. You know, we've seen how life is here, where people are able to speak to people, regardless of how old they are, if they think it's true. And like for one like me, I joined the PPP because I think that's the way that I'll be able to participate to effect change by directly involving in this decision making. But I don't know what happened in the past in Gambia. It seriously discouraged the youths from taking part in politics. If you speak to any of them, what they'll tell you is they're not interested in politics, but they don't know how much politics affects their life. So that's one thing the struggle is doing, to educate the people about getting their policymakers accountable of how their country is being governed. But we've seen with the university, I think, even though people have criticized the university, but I think I've seen how it made some youth vocal and make them aware of their potential. You know, some of them are now speaking up, and some are getting into journalism, and some are becoming activists. You know, I've seen a few girls that I used to know in Brikama that are now very vocal. They studied in the University of the Gambia, and now they are, you know, advocates for, you know, like gender equality and things like that. So I think we will get there when young people will start to get into politics. But we have elderly who are there, and they're pretty settled there. They're not willing to leave and give chance to the young people, or even groom young people to come to be motivated to replace them. It's not happening.
Good. Thank you so much, Yunus, for that. Now, I just heard you mention that you're a member of the PPP. Now, PPP have done a very good job ever since they emerged, especially in the last 2 months. There's a whole gathering that they had in D.C., which was very successful, and I understand that you all are planning another one very soon. Obviously, I'm not going to announce anything until we, officially hear it from you guys. But what would you say to that person that says, you know what, PPP has been there and they've done their thing. UDP is now one of the largest opposition parties. We're fighting a dictatorship. We're calling for unity. What do you say to that person that says maybe PPP should not try to revive that group? They should maybe join a political party that is already there to really empower that party and hopefully, help bring about the, coalition that we're fighting for right now. Because it seems like with them coming again, PPP obviously is one of the oldest, it's the oldest political party in the nation. They have a following, and believe it or not, I don't think their emerging helped UDP or any other political parties in a way. Are they adding to the fragmentation, or from what they're doing, is it right? If you ask me and other people, we think maybe they could have done it different. What is your position as a member of that party? Give us feedback as to say, should you have just joined the party, or what is the reason to create another party again, or revive another party?
I think OJ wants to keep the legacy of Sir Dawda Jawara and the party, because it's a party that he's devoted his life, all his life to, and he wants to keep it going. But that doesn't disturb the PPP's stand in the coalition, because OJ is one of the most vocal opposition that is advocating for opposition parties to come together. And that's the thing. I'm part of PPP, but when I declared it, I think I said I'll keep advocating for a unified opposition, because that's what we for this year's election, we all need to come together and fight the dictatorship. But afterwards, in the 2021, that's when I'm up for PPP. Then we'll have a real democracy, and I will contribute with my colleagues to structure PPP and have like good policies that they can sell to the Gambian people. But then there will be democracy, and people can compete and for the Gambia to choose the best party that they want to govern them. But PPP for now, we are in for to a unified opposition, So it doesn't really make a difference. OJ is traveling the country, trying to not just make people aware that PPP is back, but to also revive the dead political climate that's in the Gambia. Because people before OJ was talking, people were going on with their business. They don't know anything. They don't care about anything about the elections. They're not even excited about it. But now they are. People know that elections coming. People are getting to register. People are starting to campaign, and hopefully we get the results. But they have to come together.
Thank you so much, Yunus, for that. That's obviously a very good explanation. I just wanted to know, again, this is just one of those things that I think we're just trying to find answers to some of these questions, and maybe just probe a little bit and just see the reason behind to some of these things that are happening. Yunus, thank you so much for that. Let's go ahead and switch for a second into some really in-depth national issues. Of recent, we just seen the new Parliament House being opened, and on that day, Yahya Jammeh reconfirmed to the nation that the Gambia is going to be an Islamic state. Not only did he call it before, now he went into Parliament, setting the stage to put a law together for the Parliament to obviously, discuss it, debate it, and turn it into law. And we all know once that law hits the floor, it is going to pass. As a young man, a young Muslim who believes that the Gambia is a secular state, Explain to us your position on this and how dangerous what Yaya Jammeh is trying to do right now.
It's really unfortunate that we have Yaya Jammeh, really, because this breaks my heart. What he's trying to do, marginalizing the Christians. Because I listened to a lady's video yesterday, and it broke my heart. Saying that they're getting marginalized. They're the minority, and they are. They've contributed effectively, their forefathers, to get Gambia, a sovereign state and getting Gambia as a viable country. So for Yaya Jammeh, who doesn't have a clue, he doesn't understand anything, to just jump into these serious conclusions that he doesn't even sit and calculate. He's jeopardizing the national security. What he's doing is dangerous because it's going to attract terrorist organizations. And knowing Yaya Jammeh and his greed for money, Yaya Jammeh can provide safe haven for terrorist organizations. And then also knowing that his anti-West rhetoric. So it's dangerous. Religion, we've all seen on our TVs the atrocities that are happening around the world that are all attributed to religion, and we don't want it in the sub-region. There is no need to bring all these changes. People are coexisting in peace and harmony. We are one people. We are all going on our business and our religion. But Yaya Jammeh, I don't know if he just gets bored or if he just wants to show people that he's the power. He can do whatever he wants. And it's really sad. It's really sad that he's bringing. Like I said, he's also going to use them to justify more killings. He's tried to bring the death penalty. It didn't work, and now he's trying this other thing to kill more people.
But
so it's dangerous, really.
You just finished saying that the youths are aware, the opposition is ready, people are not scared anymore. Over the years and up until now, we've seen this guy take the law into his own hands, single-handedly shove it down our throat. Are we informed and are we not scared of him? Why we haven't still heard the youths come out and say no? We haven't heard the political parties come out and aggressively say no. They have said no. They've written articles and spoke about it. But at some point, for 21 years, we're talking about these things. We're writing them. We're showing that we're not happy about them. But it's continuously happening to us. What is it going to take for us to finally say enough of this?
Yeah, I think because people are not actually seeing the realities of it. I made this pronunciation, but no, he's not actually killed. For example, when he says the Sharia law is not killed people at the Independence Stadium or for public audience. But that's the reality of it. That's when people will see the magnitude of our problem. Right now, like I said, people just go on with their business. They read it, say, okay, they don't know, really. We need to be educated and to know exactly what our rights are. Gambians see presidency as that they are automatically entitled. Even when you say, how can Yaya Jammeh afford all these things, all these cars, he's getting paid very less amount of money, it doesn't add up. But they just think that he's a president, he should be able to have all these things. So they have a misconception, and it disturbs their sense of reasoning. But I think the problem is things that are happening and they're reading about it. Some of them not reading at all, and they don't just know the reality of it until it happens. And that way, it usually will be too late to make changes. And we need to act now. They all need to understand the magnitude of our problem and understand that what Yaya Jammeh is brewing in our country will be a catastrophe when it happens. We'll be running around picking picking people's parts on the streets. If that happened, we really should not allow it.
You're definitely right. But what worries me about this whole thing, Yunus, is that obviously we've had the opposition there. Why do you think, in your take, it's taking the opposition for so long to finally say, we've spoken to you? And I want you to talk to the opposition here. They've done everything. They've been law-abiding. They've written. They've sent letters. They haven't been heard of. What is going to happen to stop Yaya, in your take? What needs to be done to finally send the final message to this guy and say, we know you control Parliament. We know these are laws that you single-handedly are putting in place to enable yourself and to keep you in power. What would it take for the opposition to understand that there's no going around this thing? It's going to have to be a face-to-face confrontation. Or do you think the route that they're taking is the right route?
The route that they're taking is not the right route at all, because they've tried it over and over in the past. It didn't work. It didn't get them anywhere at all. The opposition should understand is their credibility that's on the line here. They need to think about the legacy that they want to leave behind. We need more aggression in confronting a tyrant. And OJ, PPP, I'm not being biased here, but OJ has been demonstrating that. If we're all gonna be like OJ, then we probably what happened the other night could have been successful, because that could have been just with that crowd that could have just been taken to at least mile 2 to demand for Amadou Sane's release, but it didn't happen. But even a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, if you ask them, how can they have the slightest chance in winning the election? They'll tell you if they should come together. So what's making this very hard? I have absolutely no idea. Because I think for having a common enemy and all of them, I have absolutely no doubt that they all love Gambia. So these are the two things that they have in common. This should be a driving force to bring these people together. And also the reforms that Yahya Jammeh announced the other time. When I heard it, I was like, this, even though I don't welcome it, but I think it will help bring the opposition together, because they know that one party will probably struggle to achieve this, to conform to all these demands, to register. So, but it's, the elections is coming closer and closer, and still we're having the same problems, the same talks. But I think maybe Hussein Dabo is thinking the problems that other political parties will bring to the table will supersede the benefits that they will bring. They will bring their supporters probably, but not much, But you listen to people like PDOIS, they seem very strict. And the way they do their things, it's very hard to cooperate with them, But they should all try to find a common ground and come together, Come together as one. The diaspora will come together as one, and they will give you every support that they can offer. And then you will rally Gambia, the whole of Gambia, 90% of Gambia, against Yahya Jammeh. And then we will win. And if we don't, we will, because all the odds are stacked against us for peaceful, for a free and fair elections, this will trigger a civil disobedience. And if Yahya attempt to cheat, that will trigger civil disobedience. And that way we have a greater magnitude of people that will stand up, having all the opposition leaders together, the diaspora. There's a lot of Gambians in Senegal, that has put their lives on hold, waiting there day by day. And the whole of Gambia is counting on the oppositions. We're counting on them to do the right thing for the sake of our country, and afterwards, it's them. They can work this out. That they will all be ministers one of them will lead and a vice president, whatever. They all have positions that they can use this last chance to effect change and towards betterment of our country. But it's really sad that we're still not able to achieve this.
Yeah, definitely. It's obviously, we know how passionate you are about this whole, opposition coalition thing. Let's just assume for a minute that you have Husseinus, Halifas, and everybody's attention that can make that decision to come together. Give us a quick pitch. Talk to them and let them know why they need to come together. From a young Gambian, speak passionately to them. I mean, sell the coalition to them. Why they have to come together? Because if you don't come together, this is what's going to happen.
Hello. I am very concerned about the direction that my country is taking right now, and I'm sure you all agree it's not leading to any good. We have our country being destroyed blatantly in our eyes, and we have the whole you have the whole of Gambia counting on you right now. A lot of Gambians have put their lives on hold. We have Gambians that are not with their families. We have children in exile. We have innocent prisoners in solitary confinement, and we have great supporters like great supporters of yours like Ahmad Sani that are in prison. We all know that they shouldn't be there. He's going through hell of malnutrition and poor sanitation and no health care at all. He's leaving, and the Mile 2 prison is like a hub for the breeding of infectious disease. So, all these people are sitting day by day counting on you guys to help. And you guys are the only way to bring peaceful change without bloodshed. Because we all know that's what will come eventually. We have children that are dying of hunger and disease in the country. We have children being born in the country with no prospect in life. They have absolutely nothing to look forward to. We have a high degree of maternal mortality and infant mortality in the country. So all this is coming to one reason for you. The only hope that we have is for you to come together and help us get out of this mess. So I Yunus Hydara, I will be forever grateful, and I'm sure the whole of Gambia will appreciate for you to make this sacrifice for us. Come together and get, because we all know, as the saying goes, unity is strength. We've all participated in elections individually, and you all know, you were not even close to winning, and that's the results that we're anticipating if you contest on your own again, and we cannot wait for another 5 years to have this chance again. So please come together as one. We'll have you give you all our support, and when we win this election, we take our country. Believe it or not, you'll all be celebrated. Your families will be celebrated, and they'll be remembered in our history. And anything different will not be good for your legacy. These things will be written. They are getting written. Your families will then lose the credibility in the Gambia's future because of your bad decisions right now. So we pray to God, for the sake of God and the prophets, please come together and rescue our country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yunus, for that. It's obviously, a very strong message from a young Gambian. As a member of the youth also, I want you to talk to the youth, because on that, I believe that was Tuesday when this whole UDP thing was happening, I heard a very passionate young man on the phone, on the radios, trying to talk to the Gambian people, telling us, informing us everything that has happened the last 21 years, asking them to rise up, and fight and end this dictatorship once and for all. Speak to those people again one more time, Yunus, and tell them the importance of the need for them to rise up, that those days of waiting for the leaders to tell them what to do are gone. This is their life. They have more to lose in this fight than anyone else. For them to rise up and understand the importance of not only stepping up to the plate and flushing this dictatorship out, but getting up those that are not a member of any organization or political party to find a political party or organization to join. Because we all know part of the reason why this is still going on is because there's a majority sitting out and refusing to join. Like you, as a young man, have decided to join PPP, in as much as people don't agree with it, but at least you've taken your part. You've done your part to join something to help this struggle. So talk to those youths to show them the importance of acting and behaving like Yunus is, because if we have more Yunuses in the country, we know this thing will end soon.
So I think every Gambian have a role to play and should have a say in our country. And we all know what's happening is not right. And the youths constituting a significant proportion of our population, which is about over 60%. We are the strongest, and we need to act instead of running away from who we are. Running away through the back way and creating a little life for yourself will not do us any good. We just, and coming here and sending money to your people, we are facilitating the problem as well. Because if you hear your people are poor and you are working day and night, you cannot even make proper savings, right? Because all your money is getting sent back to them. And at the same time, you are facilitating by providing remittance for the system to sustain the system that is there. So I think it's up to it's every Gambian's responsibility. We all have a moral responsibility to confront this problem and solve it once and for all. For 22 years we've been suffocated. We're not even allowed to speak in our own country. We've been held hostage. We've seen people die. April 10th, 11, 14 youths got killed. That could have been you, that could have been your brother. And Yahya Jammeh is the one who authorized this to happen, and he will do it again and again. He will not hesitate, because Yahya Jammeh knows when he's gone, there's nowhere else that he can go. There's nowhere. He will not be welcomed any part of the world because he is evil. He has maltreated people, the most vulnerable people in the world. He took advantage of them and subjected them to the most inhumane treatment that the world has ever known. So, we cannot wait for other people to come to our rescue, and we cannot be praying for divine intervention, because God doesn't work like that. We have to help ourselves for God to help us. Yahya Jammeh has done absolutely everything for us, and he's still seeking to do more harm, more damage to us. The only people that count in that country is Yahya Jammeh and his family. The youths are going to university. Some of them are going to university. They're graduating and not having any job, because Yahya Jammeh will rather employ a stupid person who is related to him than employ a bright young man who's graduated, who's worked hard day and night to get a degree. So the social injustice that's in Gambia is phenomenal, and we just have to confront it. We have absolutely no option but to confront this. And the thing is, I'm not sitting here. The other night, if I had the airplane, I would be in Gambia, because I was so pissed off. And I think every youth should feel the same way, because it's our future that's getting jeopardized. It's our children's future that's getting jeopardized. We don't want our children to grow and at the same time go through the same suffering and same dying in Mediterranean Sea, knowing that the European Union, they're working day and night to have stringent regulations to stop people from coming here. So what do we have? Really, I've seen Gambia. I know Gambians are good people, and I know Gambia has a huge potential. We can make Gambia to become a country that people will aspire to come to make a better life for themselves. I know it. We're a small country, a small population, a small population of decent individuals, accomplished individuals, So this is very possible. We have one antagonist, which is Yahya Jammeh. He's in there. He's selfish. He's arrogant. He's stupid. He just sees himself and no one else. He is destroying our social fabric, destroying our social cohesion. Now two people cannot even sit and have a decent conversation because you don't know if the other person is recording you or if he is an NIA. How can you live like that? Knowing that children are going to bed hungry. Children are dying of hunger and disease, lack of clean water, poor sanitation, and inadequate nutrition. So you know that there's one person who's married a Moroccan lady who's now flying all over the world, satisfying his extravagant needs with our Gambian money, while people are struggling to make basic living. I hate to see that my people are leaving just to stay alive. That's all. They have absolutely nothing to look forward to, but just to live, not knowing where their next meal can come from.
Mr. Hydara, it is all part of the process. It is all part of the process. It's a very healthy process, and this is why it is worth fighting for. When the emotions come out, because we so desire to have that freedom, and maybe our brothers and sisters that live back home that are under this dictatorship don't really know what freedom is. And our fight is to help them taste and enjoy freedom. And I am confident that when the Gambian people taste and get an understanding of freedom, we will never be oppressed again. We live in a nation today where a few are talking, a few are fighting, but we also know that there's a majority that are not doing anything. They've decided to look the other way. That cannot deter us, because in every nation's history, there's always a few that stood up, the few that fought. But when we get to freedom together, we will not blame them. We will, as a nation, understand that there was once a dictatorship that we fought together, and freedom would be enjoyed by each and every. These emotions and this fight that we're all doing right now, that we at least would live long enough to see our brothers and sisters get a taste of what freedom is, just like we have right now. Yunus, thank you so much for coming to the conversation. I know it's a very difficult, you're a very emotional guy. But also, when I spoke to Dembanjai, he mentioned something. He said, when I came into this struggle, I was a young man. I was angry. I was emotional. I was a fighter. Today, I feel like I am a mature individual. I'm a young leader. You're a young leader. There's a need for us to come out and talk to that youth, which you do very well. Just in closing, and if you have anything else, you can address that. How have you as a person benefited from this fight? When you look back, when you got into this fight up to today, how have this really helped you become the person that you are, and hopefully continue to plant this seed of a fighter within us so that we will not be oppressed again?
Yeah. So I started as, I was a typical young person who was just going around having fun, going on holidays, partying. But then when I started to get involved in the struggle, and the first thing that that I really enjoyed is that I've met people that I would never had the chance to meet if I didn't. The best people, the people that are very insightful, and the nicest people that I wouldn't have met if I wasn't in the struggle, and people that I can now consider as family, And what makes me more and more passionate is the more vocal that I get, the more Jammeh's victims get drawn to me, simply because I'm doing something that they think they cannot do, but they're the one who've suffered what happened. That keeps me going. And I think people tell me that I'm respected. I don't know why, because I believe respect is earned, and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not doing it for respect. I'm just contributing what I can to bring change to the Gambia, because I'm a principled person, and I hate injustice, and I'm sure every Gambian should feel the same way. And people tell me, often they approach me, tell me, we like what you're doing, but we can't. It's sad even to click like of your post, or even now people don't even want to take pictures with me because they're scared that if they're seen to be associated with me, they will be in trouble, or their families could get in trouble. All this make it very sad to me, because people should not refrain or stay away from you simply because you're talking for what you believe in. You're speaking the truth. But I think that's all part of fighting dictatorship. I'm sure other people have suffered worse. People like I said, the Passambajals and everything, who started this and no one knows Jammeh, and they're getting constant attacks for ruining the country's image and telling and tarnishing a leader who they deemed as a very good leader, religious and that. But people are starting to understand the paradox, because Jammeh only is interested what people see, but not what people, and it's complete opposite in the inside, because he will hold the Quran, he will dress as a good Muslim, but what he does, what we hear in the down low, is he's a rapist. He's a womanizer. He's an idol worshiper. He's a bad person, basically. He built a national assembly, a big national assembly where no one is allowed to speak inside it, for example. He built an airport. He's built an airport, which is nice, and there's no airplanes coming there. So as long as the outside is there, Jammeh take that for granted and do heinous crimes to people. In Mile 2, for example, people are going through hell, I've heard stories that are very disturbing, and I think no principled Gambian should condone this. We should all come together. Jammeh cannot arrest everyone. Jammeh cannot torture everyone. For them staying away, they put people like us at risk, because then we are a smaller target for Jammeh. But if everyone takes part, then Jammeh will not know who to target, and that way the struggle will be more effective, and that way we can get to where we want to be quicker. But then again, we will keep fighting, inshallah, and we'll keep fighting and try to keep and inspire more people, like we get inspired to join. And but all in all, I will not change. If I had to make this decision again, I will follow the same route, that is to join the people that are on the right side of our history. And I have enormous respect for all of you, MB, you particularly, and all others, of course, Passambajal. And I really look forward to that one day I'll meet all of you and shake your hands. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Yunus, for accepting our invite to come to the conversation here. Again, what we're trying to do here is very simple. It's just to hear from people like you that are so passionate into this fight, to show the people that what you're fighting for, the reason you're fighting, but also to let people know that you do have a life, because the other side of the fence is always very busy trying to downplay our lives and make it look like we're just angry mobs out there just trying to take over the government just so that we can also go be dictators. But it's good for them to understand that the people that are fighting this dictatorship are actually very focused individuals that have a life that obviously, if need be, can go down on the ground and work with the people to move our government forward. Thank you so much. Yunus, I promise I will invite you back here because I really want to have a medical show with you here. You know that I'm one of the people that's always texting you in the background. I want to bring you here.
That's the part I'm more prepared of, but it's fine. We can do that another time. But I really enjoyed this conversation. I really enjoyed the talk.
Good.
Thank you very much. And sorry I gotten a little emotional, but I'm very passionate about social justice, and also especially when it's got to do with children, knowing that there are kids out there in Gambia who doesn't know where their next meal is coming from.
Definitely. It's part of the process, and we must continue this fight because you've gotten a taste of freedom. You know how good it feels. You know what development means You know what a good functioning government can bring to its people, and that is why you're so passionate, and we must continue to fight this. Let the fight continue until the day we flush out the dictatorship and take our country back and, move our, government forward. Thank you so much, Yunus. Have a good night and greetings in Los Angeles. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great night. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Yunus Hydara of the United Kingdom. Thank you so much for listening to us. We will bring you more of the conversation. You can find us on YouTube just by typing the conversation, and you'll be able to listen to a lot of times the view on the front way forward. Thank you.